Alrighty then. Hello, everybody. So now we're just, I guess, waiting for some more people to show up here, and I do appreciate any and all likes and shares. Look like yes, we do have two people. According to StreamYard, we have two people watching. Oh, there you go. There we go. Hey, Woody, how you doing, man? Able to leap large buildings in a single bound. We're really getting now. Now we have three people in here. Hello, third person. How you doing today? As always, of course, guys, I do appreciate any and all likes and shares. That does help with the algorithm. Hopefully, we can get some more people in here soon. Anyways, Void Ranger is asking, "Will you watch New Bleed?" Well, depends. I mean, if it comes out on Toonami or something like that, probably would. Um, just have to wait and see. Actually, it's kind of funny you mentioned that because one of the articles I will be looking at tonight is talking about a new Bleach manga that will be coming out. Um, so yeah. So we'll wait a few more minutes to see if more people show up. Yeah. Later, 2021. Yeah. And as always, guys, of course, I do appreciate any and all likes and shares. That does help with the algorithm, helps to get more people in here. So hopefully we can get the word out. More people in here to appreciate the content. So, how was your weekend, guys? Guys, do anything exciting? Ah, there we go. I pinned a butterfly and built a Batmobile. Well, that's cool, RJ. Hey, RJ, I was noticing something earlier. I don't know if you saw this, but on your open mic from last night, you have it listed as the 31st. Yesterday was August the 1st. You might want to go back and double check that for your open mic night last night. And I'm glad you're here, RJ. Let's see. Did you watch Jujutsu Kaisen? No, not yet. I probably will at some point, maybe down the line. But out of Lego. Oh, that's cool. I'll change it to July 32nd. Yeah, there is no such date. You know that, RJ. Yeah, actually, I did get home. I could have came in, but I just chose not to. I mean, figured to be kind of tough to kind of just jump in part way through the stream. So I figured it would be a good night to just take off. Plus, I was a little bit tired, so I ended up taking a nap when I got home from our little family dinner last night. Wow, we got a good surge of people coming in. We got like 5 people watching now, huh? Alrighty then, and we're coming up on 5 minutes. So with that, I might just go ahead and get started pretty quickly then here. We do have it looks like we do have a sufficient amount now of people who are in here. According to YouTube, 6 people are watching. Alrighty then. Well, with that, that's a good enough mark to where we can actually kind of let's see. Let's see who. Okay, we have a couple more comments here. Grifter boy. Um, is Caitlin Glass a bad actor? I don't think so. I think she's pretty good. Nice person too. I had to cut it at the hour mark anyway. I had to guest host another show at 9. Oh, okay. All right. Well, all right. Well, so we have 6 people in here now. So I guess I'll get going here. So on tap for tonight, I've got 8 stories tonight. 4 from Bounding into Comics, 4 from CBR. We've got one the headliner is going to be another story revolving around the new Masters of the Universe show that Kevin Smith is doing, Revelation. One of the articles I'll be reading about is apparently, so some of the Netflix people have said that the creators were, I guess, trying to intentionally make Tila look more like Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. I know Yellow Flash did a video on that earlier. Also on tap for tonight for some, we got some comics news. Ablaze is coming out with a more unrestrained version of Conan, the Sumerian. The ArcTunes review will be up tonight as well as, and apparently the new Superman, John Kent, has thrown out the American way part of the classic catchphrase. Also, for anime stories, find out a little bit more about Kudere anime. Excuse me a sec. I gotta take care of something real quick here. I'll be right back. Alrighty then, I'm back. So, as I was saying, find out a little bit more about some Kudere anime. Digimon has got a new anime coming out. Bleach is having another manga come out as well. And then what was it? And then a little profile piece on Soul Eater. So let's see what I know. There have been some. Let's see. Megan Shipman and Matt Shipman related. Yeah, I believe their husband. I believe they're. See, Megan Shipman met. I think they might be brother sister. I think they might be brother. I think they might be brothers because now I know Matt Shipman is married to Brittany Lotta, I believe. So, anyways, probably not. But I think Megan and Matt Shipman are like brother sister. Here's where we need to get a mic replacing GIF of "We'll be right back" from the old Johnny Carson show. Yeah, that might be interesting there, RJ. Glad you're being a bit more lively tonight. Thank you. So, anyways, so with that, so now that I've gone through all the stories, let's go ahead and get into them. So here we go. We're gonna go ahead and get started right off here because we still have a good number of people here, even though we look like we lost a couple of people here, but let's get into the articles here. Alrighty then. So here's the first one we're going to look at. Netflix reveals Masters of the Universe creative team aimed to design Tila with a more realistic, muscular perspective inspired by Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman and The Legend of Korra. And at least in terms of the way they designed the outfits, it does look like shades of Korra in that. But article by Spencer Bacouli, published July 29th, which was last Thursday. So, let's see. See if there's anything new being said here. Since no, okay, so let's get to the article then. Netflix has revealed that Tila was given her generic strong female design in Masters of the Universe Revelation in order to portray her, quote, with a more realistic muscular perspective. um, yeah, I guess, again, going with the whole let's push the woman agenda, kind of funny because I know Flash did a separate video on how a lot of comics and stuff like that are trying to actually make women look more quote unquote realistic, but not realistically muscular the other way. Anyways, than any of her previous incarnations, as the streaming giant felt it, quote, important that realism is included in the character design, unquote. Now, as somebody who grew up on Filmation's version of He-Man and Master of the Universe, I thought Tila looked very good in that, you know. And even even when you look at She-Ra from Filmation, she didn't need to be overly muscular to still be strong and athletic, you know. A source, Master of the Universe Revelation, Season 1, Episode 2, The Poisoned Chalice. Man, that look in her eye just seems kind of sly. Uh, on July 28th, the Netflix Geeked Twitter account, whose content focuses on the platform's various quote unquote nerd media, revealed to its followers that, quote, the Masters of the Universe Revelation creative team was inspired by Wonder Woman and the Legend of Korra, designing the women of Masters of the Universe Revelation with a more realistic muscular perspective than their past iterations. And I guess they are the kind of showing the in response to Netflix Geek's tweet, another user, Bognost, sarcastically asserted, quote unquote, thank God. um, quote, in a show that allows a character to get a nice tan and become a total beefcake from holding up a piece of metal and saying a quick one liner, it's really important that realism is included in the character design, unquote. They added. However, the brand account soon fired back, declaring, quote, when women are often drawn unrealistically in so many forms of media, yeah, it's really important that realism is included in the character design, unquote. Yeah, I know Flash, and I watched one of his latest videos earlier today where he was talking about that, how their idea of realism for women is making them look more chunky. And now, granted, that obviously didn't happen here. More realistically, muscular, it just kind of it just because I know in the video Flash was trying to point out the hypocrisy of it, hypocrisy of what they were doing. So, yeah. So hopefully everybody's still here. RJ, um, Woody, I hope you guys are still here. Down to 3 viewers now, but anyway. Oh, there's Grifter. Boy, let's see what Grifter. David Matranga, probably doesn't enjoy working at Fun. Well, I don't know because I haven't heard him say either way. I mean, he's not necessarily somebody who he didn't start out with Funimation. David Matrenga actually started out with like ADV slash Sentai, and then he was one of the guys that came over from ADV Sentai to Funimation. I remember one of his other roles, one of his big roles over at ADV was as Deon de Beaumont in Le Chevalier d'Eon. So, anyways, back to the article here. Let's see. Okay, we already read that part, so let's go on here. Of course, Netflix geeks attempt to portray their less than well received Tila design as some sort of moral good, quote unquote, moral good, was soon met with a wave of criticism, with many fans noting that not only did Tila not look, quote unquote, realistic, but also that such realism was quite obviously not an issue taken under consideration when designing the show's male characters. And I know Yellow Flash would have been pointing out the hypocrisy in his video earlier, on that as well. Here's one thing that just kind of crossed my mind too with this. Okay, again, as somebody who grew up watching the Filmation version of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Okay, the argument here is that this new show, Revelation, is supposed to be geared towards the fans who grew up watching He-Man, but it's not. I don't think it really is, because if Kevin Smith really did grow up watching He-Man and the Master of the Filmation version, first off, it was directed towards kids. If you wanted to make it more, if you did want to make it, for the fans who grew up on the show, yeah, I could see maybe, bring in a few more adult storylines. Like, I know there was oftentimes hinted like the potential of a romance between Tila and He-Man and Tila and Prince Adam. There was the whole story arc of the idea of Tila becoming the sorceress, which Yellow Flash was even mentioning is still a possible plan for Revelation here. Tila is going to become the sorceress, and Andra is going to become, He-Man in a way. But this isn't, apparently the people who are creating this were saying they were creating it for those who grew up on the show, and that's, I don't think, true. Kind of would like to hear Paul Dini's take on it, because Paul Dini was one of the original writers from the Filmation show. I wonder what his take on it is, on Kevin Smith's take here, because that would be very interesting to hear. But as somebody who grew up watching, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe as a kid, the Filmation version, it definitely is a bait and switch. So let's see. There's a couple more comments. Hillary Haig does German. I don't think she does. No, the voice actress out of Houston that actually does the German accents is Tiffany Grant, not Hillary Haig. Tiffany Grant has been the one who's usually been cast as the girls with the German accents, not Hillary Haig. Okay. What is an Okaribe? I don't really know. Don't even know. Don't even know what that is there, Void Ranger. Anyways, back to the article here. Quote unquote realistic? Asked Yeti Cast. Quote, Tila injected the world's supply of steroids in the show. Oh boy. There is no resemblance to Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, unquote. And I guess Cast had quite a bit to say in that. Sharing a pair of images depicting two separate women cosplaying as Tila in her original design, at CBG writing reason that, quote, there was nothing unrealistic about her original design, unquote. Which is true. Her original, if they're talking about the original design from back in the Filmation version, there wasn't anything unrealistic, and similar characters in the Filmation Master of the universe. She-Ra. She-Ra comes to mind as well. Castaspella, Evelyn. They didn't need to be overly muscular. It's like, they were still fairly good athletes. Quote, in fact, the OG version is more normal and a quote unquote realistic and achievable body shape than the one unquote they added. Quote, I suspect, quote again, realistic, unquote, realistic, is woke for, quote, less likely seek to be found hot by men. I don't know. As Flash would put it, they're trying to kill off the male gaze. So what they're talking about right there, when you look at that, was what Tila looked like in the original Filmation version. Now, that's not a bad look. That's still for a woman. That's still a fairly good athletic look. Women aren't necessarily supposed to per se be like hulking specimens. Their athleticism lies more in precision and quickness and speed. They could run. Where where a lot of the men's muscle mass is concentrated more up top. Women's is usually more down down with the legs, but to do things like running and stuff like that. So at Elvic found themselves baffled by how, quote, Godot and Cora don't even have bodies like the ones in Tila's crappy show, unquote. Asking rhetorically, can they stop lying? Quote, I like Godot as one woman, unquote, they stated, but, quote, but she's hardly muscular. It's my main criticism of her in the role. Well, and some poor line delivery at times. Unquote. But yeah, even Gal Gadot right there isn't overly muscular either. All right, guys, give me a sec. I gotta take care of a couple of things real quick. I'll be right back. All right, so you from California? Yeah, I am. Grifter boy. I am from. Tia Ballard has an annoying voice. Um, Don M. Bennett. I don't think so. I mean, as far as I know, I have no reason to believe she. I know she didn't really say too much about Vic, so I wouldn't say she's. But I have no reason to believe she is with any of that crowd. But anyways, all right. So let's see. Wow, where did everybody go? We're down to one person viewing again. Uh okay. Back to the article here. Alongside a side by side comparison of He Man's original and Revelation designs, at 7 the artist offered his own sarcasm, telling Netflix Geeked that he was, quote, so glad to see the men of Masters of the Universe Revelation have been designed with a more, quote unquote, realistic, muscular perspective than their past iterations as well, unquote. Quote, the unfair standard of masculinity in the original cartoon was very harmful to the self esteem of young boys, unquote. He further mocked. Oh boy. Actually, if anything, they made He Man in Revelation, apparently, they made He Man look bigger. If anything. What do you make of Netflix's explanation of Tila's updated design? Let us know your thoughts on social media and in the comments down below. Well, I think as Flash would put it, there is definite signs of hypocrisy right there. So, and here's Woody saying hi. 4 people back up there. Okay, so with that, excuse me a moment. I'm gonna be right back here. Had to go off camera there for a moment. But anyway, so we'll get on to the next article then here. We're at the coming up on 30 minutes, half hour. So we got through one of the 8 articles thus far. So let's get to the next one here. We now get into the comics portion of our stories. Ablaze announces new quote unrestrained, violent, and sexual unquote Conan the Barbarian comic, The Cimmerian Beyond the Black River. Article was written by Spencer Baculi, published last Friday, July the 30th. Ablaze has announced that they will publish a new Conan the Barbarian comic book series. Now, this has been going on for a while. I know Blaze has taken up the Conan the Barbarian banner of late, and we've read actually some stories on this particular comic book series and all that, which intends to present the savage adventurer as, quote, unrestrained, violent, and sexual, unquote, as its creator intended this fall season. Robert E. Howard, Savage Hero, Uncensored, The Cimmerian, Beyond the Black River. Ablaze 1, The Cimmerian, Beyond the Black River, 2021, Ablaze. On October 6th, Ablaze will release The Cimmerian, Beyond the Black River, #1 by Matthew Gabella, whose solicitation teases that the book will bring the character, quote, to life uncensored and in vivid, full color, unquote, as creator Robert E. Howard, quote, originally intended, unquote, quote, unrestrained, violent, and sexual. Unquote. Them fighting words here. Them fighting words to the SJWs. Unrestrained, violent, and sexual. The Pict country is an obscure jungle where the border between civilization and barbarism is thin. Only one thing symbolizes it, the Black River, which it is claimed that no white man was able to cross and come back alive. None except Conan. I should highlight. It is in the heart of this green hell that the Cimmerian meets Balthus, a young voluntary peasant whom he saves at the last minute from the clutches of fierce Pictish warriors. Together, they will try to lend a hand to the colonists who have established themselves here on these hostile lands in the last bastion of civilization. With a dozen men, they will have to find the powerful sorcerer Zogar Sag before he succeeds in uniting the clans and initiating his bloody invasion. Kind of a nice way to kind of give the summary of the book and all that. In addition to launching this new series, Ablaze will also release a second edition reprint of the Cimmerian's first volume hardcover, which will include, quote, 2 complete stories, Queen of the Black Coast and Red Nails, plus bonus material in one consolidated collection, unquote, on September 29th. Cimmerian. And this, of course, is, again, we've seen some of this before. However, a reprint is not the only hardcover Conan release coming from Ablaze this fall. As on November 24th, the publisher is also set to release the third volume hardcover of The Cimmerian, which will feature the stories, quote, Iron Shadows in the Moon and the Man-Eaters of Zambola, unquote. Are you interested in checking out any of Ablaze's upcoming Conan titles? Let us know your thoughts on social media or in the comments down below. Yeah, they do sound interesting. They do sound interesting indeed. We got some more people. Hey, Leto. Hey, Mike. How are you? All right. Just getting through some articles here. What's your favorite sandwich? Ham and cheese. Hi, Leto and Woody. Hey, Woody. And I've been feeling under the weather. Everybody does once in a while, Leto. I'm glad you're here. Hope you're doing well, Woody. Anyways, guys, I'll be right back. Gotta go off camera here for a moment. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. All right. As always, guys, of course, I do appreciate any and all likes and shares. That helps get the algorithm up. And with that, let's move on to the next story here. It's going to be ArcTunes roundup for yesterday. See what ArcTunes is up to. Let's see. ArcTunes roundup, August 1st, 2021, from the Dark Herald, published yesterday. Welcome to the ArcTunes Roundup, bounding into comics weekly look at some of the best in new and classic comics that Archive Comics has to offer. Today, we'll be catching up with a few fan favorites. Midnight's War by Vox Day. And I know Backcoat's not here. He'd be going, boo, Vox Day. Let's see what they have to say about this one. ArcTunes' surprise breakout hit in now has 14 issues. What is it about vampires that speaks to the deepest fears in all of us? You'd be hard pressed to find any culture without some kind of variant on this theme. Even the Age of Enlightenment wasn't powerful enough to overcome the primal dread. In December 1811, the corpse of a likely vampire named John Williams was paraded through the streets of London and buried at the center of a crossroads with a stake through its heart, and the tip of the stake left above the ground. All done with the blessing of the British government. Midnight War. Bram Stoker's novel was allegedly inspired by the New England Mercy Brown incident in 1892. A grieving father was forced by his community to exhume his daughter's corpse, remove her heart, burn it, and feed the ashes to his son, who was dying of tuberculosis. Whoa, not a very good idea. No matter how plugged in, wired up, and educated we become, we can't get away from the fear of the undead. Naturally, these stories become updated and adapted to the world we live in. However, we all know vampires aren't real, although, if all the world leaders were vampires, would things look any different? Well, I would say possibly, because we'd probably be more like in an eternal night kind of situation. The Throne of Bones by Vox Day. Quote, hear now the woes of the infantryman. He rises when there is yet an hour for sleep. He is driven as is the ass. He eats of that which even the jackal disdains. He follows orders that make to him no sense. Unquote. Ancient Egyptian poem. A Throne of Bones gets the feel of line unit right because some things are simply eternal in the military. If you're trying to teach a squirming 12-year-old anything at all about Roman military history, you could do worse than show him a Throne of Bones. Goblins and orcs. Goblins and orcs are more likely to hold adolescent attention spans while discussing the origins of Roman strategy and tactics than your standards, Gauls and Germans. Now, Gauls, just in case you don't know what that means, Gaul was the former name of France. It was the ancient name of France. France was at one time called Gaul. Rome's empire wasn't built by an army of warriors. It was built by soldiers with discipline. While they couldn't fault Roman courage, what made them a world conqueror was their obsession with organization and record keeping. Yes, a disciplined warrior is a very tough warrior to beat. So let's see now. All right, looks like we have some more people in here. I wish you were here. Hey, 80, how you doing? Been missing you. Pink Floyd excerpt. Hello, Miss Pickle. 80 says hi to Mueller. What do you think of the Aaron Fox from I don't know. I don't watch NBA basketball. Paul Dobson's Naraku is on point. Yeah, I guess you could say that. Have you heard of Popito Fatso? No, I haven't. Always, guys, of course, I do appreciate any and all likes and shares. That does help with the algorithm. And helps see if we can get some more people in here. Anyways, continuing on with the article here. This may have been religious in origin, as religion affects all aspects of a culture. And the Romans were absolutely fixated on their detailed contracts with their gods, as there were things owed to the gods and things the gods owed to the Romans, that they held up their part of the bargain. Being legally minded, they wrote all these contracts down. However, I'm not saying that Rome's armies were designed by lawyers. Bone of bones. Although, given the cold hearted, ruthless efficiency with which the legions dealt with Rome's enemies, would an army designed by lawyers look any different? Hammer of Freedom by Luciano Cunha. Finally, we'll check back in on Brazilian powerhouse Super Prumo's Hammer of Freedom, wherein things are looking pretty bleak for a hero. But then again, things always look that way for him. Yeah, nothing like having a hero in peril to conquer that peril to make the story go along. He loves his nation, and his nation has been stolen from his people. This time, it looks like it's running. His running is finally over. Get rid of the corpse. Good work, boys. I'm off. Pain. Lots of it. The bullet is the least of it. Several ribs broken. Apola's done for two, I think. We have our first Arctoons crossover. His one-man war is no longer just one man. The Awakener has arrived in Hammer of Freedom. Oh, wow! Arctoons is looking to kind of establish their own universe, huh? With these crossovers, this crossover. Legend Chuck Dixon presents Mystery, The Mummy. Our spotlight this week is one of those oddities that is of interest to the comic book historian. The legend Chuck Dixon presents Mystery, The Mummy. We'll let Chuck himself explain this one. Chuck says, there's Chuck. Back before home video and streaming services, if you missed a movie on TV, you missed it. And that was that. All you could do was scan the TV guide for the next airing, which might be years away. Magazines like this one filled the gap for monster fans with summations of the movies you might have missed. Which is true. I mean, and we'll probably get into some of these when we get into the 40s and stuff in our historical comic retrospect, but there were some like movie style magazines. This creaky mummy story is part of Universal's return to the horror genre after a hiatus that ended in the 1930s. Enjoy a taste of a world without streaming, without DVDs, without even a Betamax. And this is like copies of what they're talking about there. And again, we'll see some of this too as we move forward with our historical comic retrospect, guys. So, even though I had run into some of them in the dealer room at a science fiction convention in Chicago in the mid 80s, I had completely forgotten about these old films. The dealer was tickled to be asked about them, but my very limited 80s wallet had been spoken for by some issues of Watchmen that I'd missed. Regardless, it was a treat to finally see one. This is for that. That's it for this week's Arctunes Roundup. If you would like to see your comic book on Arctunes, please send your submission to submissions@archaven.com. Arctunes' motto is that great stories belong to the world. If you would like to support the website, please consider buying a subscription. Archaven titles on Arctoon will remain free to all forever. Independent creators will soon have the option of being directly supported by their patrons. See you all next week. There we go. There we go with that one. All right, so let's see what else. Religion seems to fire up people and create chaos. 80 goes hide in corner to listen. What's your favorite burrito? Bean and cheese. The ones that make me fart. Okay. My haunted Andrea Spinarato. What's your job? I know there's just asking random questions there. Anyways, let's move on to the. Well, let me see the time here. 53. So we're coming up on an hour here. We're making good time here. It looks like. All right, let's move on to the fourth story of the night. About halfway through. Also, this will be the last comic related story. Then we'll get into the anime related stories on CBR. So, new Superman, John Kent, does away with, quote, the American way, unquote, in the hero's decades old catchphrase in Tom Taylor's Superman, Son of Kal-El #1. Again, another one of these woke writers who are going to probably be just trashing on America. Written by J.B. Augustine, published today. Superman has stood for, quote, truth, justice, and the American way, unquote, with very few exceptions since the 1940s. But it appears that a piece of this iconic catchphrase has officially been done away with in DC lore. As putting down America is a great thing, according to SJWs. So, and I'm sure some of us remember this scene right here, George Reeves in front of the American flag from the 50s Adventures of Superman TV show. In the first issue of the newly launched series Superman, Son of Kal-El, writer Tom Taylor strikes, quote unquote, the American way from the hero's famous time-honored line in favor of, quote, truth, justice, and a better world, unquote. Yeah, my guess is a lot of these SJWs may have seen the Justice League Unlimited episode, A Better World, and thought that was the way to go. Yeah, let's have Superman incinerate Lex Luthor with his heat vision. That'd be a good idea. Fortunately, Taylor isn't doing this with Clark Kent. Instead, as the book's title indicates, it's his son Jonathan Kent who makes a decision to change the final element of his father's catchphrase after he inherits the title of Superman and its inherent responsibilities when Krypton's last son goes missing in action. Superman said, and of course they take a page from the classic original Superman comic back in 1939. The beginning story of the daring exploits of the 21st century Superman. It all starts when Jonathan is hanging out and saving lives with Damian Wayne. After putting out a forest fire, the two discuss their respective burdensome legacies, and the inexperienced and obviously nervous Jonathan is put on the spot by Damian. After expressing how he doesn't want to overstep his bounds or make regular people as nervous as himself, Damian tells Jonathan that there are some people, quote, who can do with being a little nervous, unquote. So our Superman, Son of Kal-El, Volume 1, Number 1, Truth, Justice, and a Better World. DC Comics words by Tom Taylor, or by John Timms and Gabe Esteb, or Eteb. Son of Batman then asks Jonathan what he wants the Kryptonian S symbol. What he wants the Kryptonian S symbol, otherwise known as the crest of the House of L, to stand for. To which Jonathan replies, quote, truth, justice, and a better world. I just want to help, unquote. It's a new Superman, and Tom Taylor's Son of Kal-El is arguably supposed to be its own thing. But not everybody is happy about this change. Even Screen Rant laments that, quote, it is somewhat disheartening to watch writers strip away Superman's American heritage page by page, year by year, unquote. Yeah, this is sometimes a common problem within families. Clark, of course, grew up in a time, he was raised by his, of course, adopted parents, Jonathan and Martha Kent, Jonathan Kent the first, on a lot of good, what would you call hardworking American values, liberty, freedom, appreciate liberty, freedom, being neighborly. But of course, Jonathan here is being grown up in a time in which all that has been stripped away, in which a lot of those old values are being considered bad. Superman, Son of Kal-El, Volume 1, Number 1, Truth, Justice, and a Better World. The iconic, quote, Truth, Justice, and the American Way, unquote, line dates all the way back to the Superman radio dramas, where an iteration of the phrase is uttered in conclusion to the series. Opening, as the narrator announces, Superman, who can leap tall buildings in a single bound, race a speeding bullet to its target, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice. Quote, unquote. Quote, the American Way, unquote, line was eventually added to the slogan in 1942, making its debut in the intro sequence to Max Fleischer's animated Superman serials in an attempt to boost patriotism and spirits at home during World War II. And there you have right there Superman 1940 Paramount Pictures. There's there's kind of the Fleischer design. Now Fleischer Studios guys is the same studio that originally did Popeye. The old Popeye black and white cartoons were also done by Fleischer Studios. Forswearing, quote, the American way, unquote, and its part in Superman's legacy is nothing new. One notably blatant moment in the Man of Steel's history where it was cast aside came in 2006's Superman Returns, where Perry White, played by Frank Langella, ordered his newsroom to figure out if the resurfaced Big Blue still stood for truth, for quote, truth, justice, all that stuff, unquote. Superman even renounced his American citizenship in the comic books during the 2011's, quote, The Incident, unquote, an Action Comics 900 backup story written by Man of Steel and Dark Knight scribe David Goyer. Whether intentional or not, such creative developments can't help but seem like the result of an agenda driven undertaking meant to chip away at the Kansas raised man of tomorrow's American spirit. Such developments don't sit well with readers, including former Superman actor Dean Cain, who has taken notice of what can be described at best as a backslide into neutrality for the character, which aims to um, ameliorate him internationally, send a message of inclusivity, and avoid hurting any feelings. Yeah, that sounds about right. I kind of have to agree with that. Last year, Kane said to Fox News at Ainsley Earnhardt that he didn't believe he would be able to say the full phrase on TV if he was playing the part today, stating, quote, I promise you, as Superman, I wouldn't today be allowed to say, quote, truth, justice, and the American way, unquote. Quote, with those telling negative stories having an agenda, they hate capitalism, they hate law and order, they hate America, unquote. The actor continued. Kane expressed similar sentiments about Captain America's belief in the American dream being put in doubt this past month in the first issue of the United States of Captain America. And we of course read that article and went through that article, earlier, a few weeks ago. You guys might remember that. Let's see. So let's see what's being said here. Okay. I will not retract my answer. Okay. When do you like, Jason Voorhees or Leatherface? Let's see. As far as I know, I lied. I retract an answer. Superman seemed to have, Spawn. Americans took over Godzilla from another country. That is how comics do their thing. Well, Superman was actually an American original created originally by um, two Jewish guys, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Um, Quote, the fashionable thing to do is to bash America and to hate America, unquote. He explained from the perspective of someone who admittingly heard about the issue but didn't read it. Quote, I love the concept of Captain America, but I am so tired of this wokeness and anti Americanism, unquote. Quote, in my opinion, America is the greatest country in history, unquote. Kane added, it's not perfect. We are constantly striving for a more perfect union, but I believe she's the most fair, equitable country anyone's ever seen. And that's why people are clamoring to get here from all over the globe, unquote. A Superman who stands for truth, justice, the American way, and, quote, all that stuff, unquote, would agree. Tell us in your comments. Oh, well, yeah, and I kind of agree with that notion too. You know. So, anyways, um, all right. So let's see. We're past the hour mark here. We're about halfway through. So let's get ready to move on to the next set of articles here, which will come to us from CBR, all anime related. Four of them, and of course we'll probably brief them because usually um, I may add one or two in there if I feel. All right, so here we go. Here's the first anime article of the night that we'll look at. 5 great anime for kudere lovers. Kudere are known for being cold and collected, but love lurks behind their emotionless exterior. Here are 5 great anime featuring the archetype. By C.M. Ramsberg, published 15 hours ago. I think that's Todoroki right there from My Hero Academia. Anime characters known as kudere, a Japanese term used to label those who are typically stoic, blunt, or even cynical, are known for calm and cold behavior, even toward those they love. Since they have a difficult time expressing themselves, actions speak louder than words when revealing a kudere's true feelings. Despite their emotionless exterior, kudere characters care deeply about those they love and will protect them with their life. If you're a fan of the kudere archetype, here are 5 perfect anime series to enjoy. Inuyasha. As arguably the most famous and popular kudere in all of anime, Sesshomaru from Inuyasha is the perfect embodiment of the archetype. Kind of have to agree. Now that I know what a kudere is, I'd have to agree with that. Considering his relationship with Rin, the notorious and powerful dog demon is first introduced as Inuyasha's big half brother and adversary. Sesshomaru fights Inuyasha for his Tetsaiga, believing his younger half demon brother isn't worthy of their father's sword due to being part human. Ironically, Inuyasha's compassion for humans allows him to wield the Tessaiga, while Sesshomaru lacks any love or respect for humans. However, Sesshomaru's mindset and world change when he encounters Rin, a compassionate human girl who tries to feed and help him when he's hurt. After her entire family was killed by wolves, Rin dies while trying to reach him for protection, and Sesshomaru is compelled to use his Tenseiga for the first time to bring her back to life. Despite his emotionless demeanor and initial villainy, Sesshomaru undergoes major character development, allows Rin to travel with him um, while protecting her with his life. He maintains his calm and stoic nature despite his overwhelming love for Rin, only showing his true emotions when she's in danger or near death. And of course, if anybody's been watching Yashahime, Princess Half Demon, their love, of course, spawned Toa and Setsuna. Naruto! And they show us Sasuke and Sakura right there. Let me guess. I think Sasuke is the Kudere type here. Let's take a look here. Naruto has several Kudere characters, and most of them happen to possess a Sharingan. Yeah, the Uchiha family seems to have that personality down packed. At the start of the series, Sasuke fits the cold and cynical description of Kudere um, perfectly, as he quickly expresses his desire to kill his older brother when introducing himself to Team 7. His fitting bluntness is also revealed early on when he tells Sakura she's annoying. I remember that scene. Despite his icy facade, Sasuke's actions reveal his internal love for his teammates, both before leaving the Hidden Leaf and after his return. If Sasuke alone isn't enough to convince you some Kudere fans to watch Naruto, the series offers even more. Sasuke's older brother, Itachi, is commonly regarded as the ideal Kudere. He's able to hide his true emotions and intentions so well that he successfully infiltrates a most notorious criminal organization while protecting Sasuke and the Hidden Leaf from the shadows. Kakashi Hatake, another Sharingan wielder, is also considered a Kudere for his calm and collected personality, while caring deeply for his students and comrades. All true. Yeah, Sasuke, Itachi, and Kakashi, all very interesting characters to say the least. Fairy Tail. Urza Scarlet and Jalal Fernandez are both Kudere, who only activate their loving side when they're around each other in Fairy Tail. As two of the world's most powerful wizards, they are known for their tough and serious aura that instills fear in their enemies. Like many Kudere, they are usually practical and tactical to ensure victory in battle. Yes, and I think we even see it more in Urza's case when we see her like turn of her relationship to like Natsu and Gray as well. She can be very strict and demanding with them, but you know, deep down, she truly does care for them as if they were like her younger brothers. Despite their scary reputation, these two battle hardened wizards become different people when it comes to each other. Given their rich history dating back to their childhood, this unstoppable duo manages to overcome trauma and impossible odds while navigating their mutual love for one another. Of course, they're pointing out again Urza and Jalal's feelings for each other, but I think in Urza's case, it does extend to her guild mates, particularly, like I said, Natsu and Gray. Noragami. Superman had his purpose in comics decades ago. Night, Mike, and all. Oh, you're taking off. 80. Well, thanks for dropping in. Appreciate you being here. And is anybody else even here? Or is it just me now? I guess Batgoat and Toys must be. Well, I know Toys is working, so he got himself a new job. Where's Leto? Woody, you guys still here? Well, two people now. Okay. As always, guys, of course, I do appreciate any and all likes and shares. Helps with the algorithm. We continue on with the story here. Noragami. While Yato often acts more animated and playful than the average Kudere, this ancient war god from Noragami is still a natural in the archetype. Known as the god of calamity and depression, Yato's dark and bloody past of killing whole armies would normally scare anyone off. However, a girl named Hiyori nearly dies trying to save him from a bus and becomes a half phantom living between the living and spirit worlds. While she stays by his side in the hopes he can fix her condition, Yato surprisingly develops feelings for the mortal human. Despite outwardly expressing himself better than most Kudere, he still puts up a cold and serious front to garner fear and respect. My Hero Academia. Anyways. My Hero Academia. As a fan favorite superhero in My Hero Academia, Shoto Todoroki's personality is as cold as his quirk. Todoroki is known for his blank expression that rarely changes, making it hard for viewers to figure out what he's thinking or feeling. He becomes most animated in the midst of battle, but often manages to remain calm and collected even in the face of villains. Despite his icy expression and powers, Todoroki supports and cares about his friends in Class 1A, and the fan base even suspects him of having hidden romantic feelings for Momo Yaoyo's Rozo. I say that one 3 times fast. There's that article. One person's come back at least to watch. That's just simply me. All right, so let's see now. Let's get on to the next article here. Here's one. A new Digimon anime series movie announced. The monster battling series is digivolving once again with the announcement of a new TV anime series and a new Digimon 02 movie. Article by Michael Cerna, published 13 hours ago. Bandai is planning even more return trips to the digital world as the company has announced 2 new Digimon anime projects. According to Anime Intelligence and Research, the first of the new Digimon projects will be an anime TV series entitled Digimon Ghost Game. The series will feature a new cast of characters and digital monsters, though it's currently unknown if this show is set in the same continuity as Digimon Adventure, or if it takes place in a separate universe similar to Digimon Tamers. The new show will air sometime before the end of 2021. A poster showcasing a trio of new characters was released on Twitter. AIR, Anime Intelligence and Research. There you go. There's a Toei logo up in the upper corner there. The second new Digimon project is a new movie based on the second season Digimon Adventures anime. The teaser trailer features the Digi-destined Daisuke, known as Davis in the English localization, discussing his meeting with a new Digimon trainer who has a Digivice but no partner. No partner Digimon to go along with it. The second generation of Digi-destined played minor roles in the Digimon Adventure continuation series, Digimon Adventure Try. And the series' tear-jerking finale movie, Digimon Adventure Last Evolution Kizuna. But this new movie will reportedly give the second season's cast a spotlight. No other details, including the other characters, will appear and what time period. No other details, including what other characters will appear and what time period the movie in, have been announced. The Digimon franchise began in 1997 with the release of a line of virtual pet toys, which were a spin-off of the popular Tamagotchi line, also created by Bandai. The first anime based on the toy, Digimon Adventure, aired in 1999. Despite early comparisons to Nintendo's Pokemon series, Digimon Adventure differentiated itself with an ongoing serialized story that earned the series a dedicated fan base. Mamoru Hosoda, the acclaimed director of anime films such as Summer Wars, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, and the upcoming Belle, worked on the series and directed the animated shorts that would be re-edited together and released as Digimon the movie internationally. A remake of the original anime series aired in 2020. In addition to the anime, the franchise has also continued through regular video game releases across multiple generations of consoles, the latest of which will be Digimon Survive, which was initially announced in 2018 but was recently delayed into 2022 due to development complications stemming from the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. The original 1999 Digimon Anime Adventure series, as well as its second season, which features a new generation of characters that will be featured in the upcoming movie, are available for streaming on Hulu. The 2020 reboot of the series is streaming on Crunchyroll. Oh, there we go. There we go with that one. Let's see if anybody's here. Oh, one person. I guess that'd be me. One is the loneliest numb. I'll be right back. I'll be stepping away from the camera for a quick moment. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Again, where is everybody? Right. Here's the next article we'll go through. New Bleach illustration teases new manga release. Tide Kubo hypes up the upcoming new chapter of the Bleach manga by releasing a new illustration of an older looking Ichigo. Article by Michael Esterna, published 12 hours ago. Yeah, it does look like Ichigo more like as a young man, like young adult, as opposed to still in high school. Bleach is getting a new chapter to celebrate the series' 20th anniversary, and a newly released illustration from creator Tide Kubo offers a hint as to when the new story takes place. Released on Twitter, the new illustration shows off an older looking Ichigo, which matches his appearance from the final chapter of the Bleach manga, which took place after a 10-year time skip. So I think if he was something like about 14 or 15, originally in Bleach, and then 10 years, so 24, 25. So the illustration seemingly confirms that the 20th anniversary chapter will take place after the events of the original manga and will star Ichigo, so it won't be some kind of prequel or side story. The new Bleach chapter was announced several days ago and will be published in the issue number 36, 37 of Weekly Shonen Jump. This special release will be the first new full chapter of Bleach since 2016. Bleach was one of the biggest hits to emerge out of Shonen Jump in the early thousands, and tells the story of Ichigo, a young man who is cursed with the ability to see ghosts. After encountering a woman named Rukia, who is a member of a group of supernatural warriors known as Soul Reapers, Ichigo becomes involved in their conflict with the Hollows, a type of malicious spirit that attacks both the living and the souls of the recently departed. The series was lauded as one of Shonen Jump's big three anime and manga franchises of the era, alongside Masashi Kishimoto's Naruto and Eiichiro Oda's still ongoing One Piece. Following Bleach's conclusion in 2016, Tide Kubo released the spin off manga series Burn the Witch in 2020, which takes place in the same universe as his earlier work. Bleach manga is available in English from Viz Media. The anime series is available for streaming on Hulu, Netflix, and Crunchyroll. Oh, there we go. That one was quick. We're just about done here with all the articles. We have one more run through as soon as I find it. Here we go. See if anybody's come back or said anything or anything like that. Nope, it looks like I'm flying solo right now. Well, let's keep this going. So, for people who want, if you didn't catch it before, you can always come back and catch the articles and stuff. All right. So, anyways. All right, so the last article of the night, we'll be reading it. Let me just double check the time. So we're at hour 34. So, we made good time tonight here. Soul Eater, how to get started with the anime and manga. Though they've both long since come to an end, the Soul Eater manga and anime still attract newcomers hungry to consume the now classic series. Article by Timothy Donahue, published 7 hours ago. There are the characters right there. Popular in the late 2000s and early 2010s, Soul Eater was once mentioned in the same breath as franchises such as Naruto and Bleach. Initially praised for its fun shonen scope, Soul Eater became somewhat criticized due to its characters and fan service. Despite that, it rode the newfound international anime popularity of its era, gaining a firm following that it maintains to this day. Due to its combination of inventive fights, gothic designs, and generally lighthearted tone, it remains a staple shonen franchise in many people's minds. Also, it's got a pretty good soundtrack too. The number of the songs are just good rocking songs. Um, um, though they've been long since come to an end, they both have long end. The Soul Eater manga and anime still okay. Didn't I just read that? Yeah, they put the same paragraph down here that they put up there. The Western release of the Perfect Edition manga has only made it this easier. So here's what readers and viewers should know about Soul Eater and where they can get hold of it. Where to read the Soul Eater manga. The plot of Soul Eater involves an academy called Death Weapon Meister Academy, where humans train living weapons and others train to become their handling meisters. The main character is a girl named Maka, whose partner, Soul Eater, has the power to transform into a powerful scythe. Their goal is for Soul Eater to absorb the souls of 99 evildoers, as well as a witch's soul, to become a powerful death scythe. Along with their teammates, Maka and Soul eventually do battle with the evil witch Medusa, who in Funimation's dub, of course, was dubbed by Lucy Christian. She did a good job with it. The Soul Eater's manga is the work of Atsushi Okubo, and the Supernatural Shonen series was published through Monthly Shonen Gangan by Square Enix. The original manga ran from 2004 to 2013, amassing 25 volumes, with the prequel spin-off Soul Eat Not was collected into 5 tankobon volumes throughout its 2011-2014 run. Both series can be purchased digitally or physically through Comixology, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and Amazon. The same goes for the book's Perfect Edition, a series of omnibus that collect multiple volumes and include additional content. Where to watch the Soul Eater anime? The Soul Eater anime, produced by the illustrious studio Bones, began in 2008 and ran until the following year. The anime's take on the source material was notably different, with the nature of consuming souls and several characterizations being changed. Some characters' roles were also cut down, as was some of the manga's infamous fan service. This adaptation runs up to chapter 32 of the manga, then diverges for the rest of its run. As the anime ended 4 years before the manga, its conclusion is wildly different as well. Despite this, many fans still enjoyed the stylish show, which went on for a total of 51 episodes. Soul Eater Not would also receive an anime, though it only lasted for 12 episodes. The original Soul Eater can be viewed on Netflix, Hulu, Funimation, and Crunchyroll. Likewise, Soul Eater Not be found on Hulu and Tubi. The physical DVD Blu-ray releases can also be purchased through Amazon, Walmart, and Best Buy. And that is where we end the main stories. And it would appear I am once again the only one here. For those of you who might be listening, Rakeda Law will have Neurotic joining him to discuss Central Liberty. Well, I did get at least one more like, so that's good. As always, of course, I do appreciate any and all likes and shares. But I guess as such, I think it'd probably be about a good time to start considering wrapping up since there's nobody else here. Well, I know I'm ready for the this day in each history. So I'll be getting to that. So, guys, I know some of you may hopefully come back here to watch this again, on your own. The information is always up here if you guys want to watch. Want to get in, get the content in at least. So, anyways, without any further, today being Monday, August the 2nd, 2021, let's take a look back at this day in each history. Okay, so the first piece in each history we're going to look at tonight is we're going to go back 30 years ago today. On this date, 30 years ago, a pair of anthropomorphic canine-related animated films made their premieres on this date back in 1991, 30 years ago today. Don Bluth's Rock-a-Doodle. Don Bluth, of course, known his most famous work being All Dogs Go to Heaven. His movie Rock-a-Doodle premiered on this date, as well as Warner Brothers premiering of Rover Dangerfield, basically about an anthropomorphic dog version of Rodney Dangerfield, who also provided the voice in the film. So on this date, 30 years ago today, the anthropomorphic canine animated features Rock-a-Doodle and Rover Dangerfield would premiere on this date in 1991, 30 years ago today. All right, and also the last bit of each history tonight is this. On this date back in 1994, which was, I believe, 27 years ago today, the 90th issue of the second volume of Green Arrow went on sale on this date in 1994. The title "He Who Hesitates," with a 0-hour crossover event, written by Kevin J. Dooley, Eduardo Ramello did the art, John Costanza did the lettering, and Buzz Setzer did the coloring. So, on this date, 27 years ago today, the 90th issue of the second volume of Green Arrow went on sale on this date from DC Comics. So, and I know everybody's pretty much gone now, but I do appreciate the viewers I got earlier tonight. I appreciate all the likes and shares, and I thank you guys again for being here for the times you were here. Don't forget that this Friday, of course, we'll be continuing our historical comic retrospect with Batgoat. He'll be here with me. And with that, I will bid you all a good night. Bye!